Okay, so now we're going to create a folder, and I give you the name that I suggest. You can name it whatever you want, and you can honestly put it wherever you want. The reason I recommend this folder is that what you are going to do is clone the two repos that you've created out on GitHub into this folder so you always know where to go find them. That's honestly what it is. And I have students taking multiple classes of mine, and this just helps keep that organized. So, to create a folder on your local system, of course, something like Windows has a file explorer, something like Mac has a Finder. In your VS Code, there is also an interface here to do that as well. So, if I go into Terminal and I do a new terminal, and I have my terminal set up to be Git Bash, you can use PowerShell. You can use other things, but typically, I think Git Bash works the best. But again, I try not to say what you absolutely have to do to use. I just show you what I use, and then some students will just go with that, and some students have their own very strong opinions about browsers and IDEs and other things, and that's okay too. Okay. So what I could do here is, and I'm at this point, I haven't created the folder yet. Okay. So there's a new file, there's an open file, and there's a folder, but there's actually not a create a folder here. And even if I did this, I could see some options, but I think one of the best ways, if you're going to do it at the command line, okay, because I'm assuming at this point you know how to do this on the file explorer. So if I do pwd, I can see what folder I am in the local system. Yes, I'm using Windows as I have been for this whole series. So if I do ls and I look what's in here, I know I'm going to put mine in docs. So I do cd space docs. And by the way, if I just type enough of the string of the folder, once I hit tab, it'll find the rest. Good, I'm there. Cool. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen just to make it a little more clean. So I'm going to do mkdir CIT 80 sorry 95 FA, and I do caps 21. Just in case it's a little harder to read. So mkdir. Now the key to this is you want to be in the folder that you want to place it in. Okay. Some people may have some other location. So this is the equivalent of coming over to the file explorer and in documents, right clicking and just doing new and then folder. Okay. I just like to show things on the command line because they're fun to do. Now that I did my command, I see my folder there, and then I can do this. I can just tell my VS Code, okay, now open that folder. And now there's a reason I can actually open, oh, you know what? I can actually open it here as well. I think I can just do, I shouldn't play around too much, but sometimes, sometimes playing the way we work, the way we learn. I think I can do code dot, oh, I did. Oh, I did. Okay, so I hadn't done that command in a while. Now, at this point, I have two instances of VS Code running. So I'm going to close the one behind it, open this one, because at this point, what's happened is now it has the folder open. So this is the same idea of if you weren't in anything and you just did file, open folder, and you navigated to that folder. Okay, that there's nothing really different except I did it on the command line. Okay, so now what we're going to do is that we're going to now clone into this directory that we've created, what I would call the base directory, the two repos that you have created in this course already. So I'm going to navigate somewhere to them. There we go. And I'm going to start with my private one, my p-pri, my private repo. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to hit clone. All right, I'm going to hit copy. Now, there's multiple ways to clone. And clone basically just means I'm going to take what's on GitHub I'm going to create that same structure on your local system, and I'm going to connect it through authentication, right? We want there to be security here. We don't want anyone snooping in on what we're doing and what we're sending across the wire, or what we would commonly call the network of the internet. Okay, so at this point I can just copy this. Okay, so we're going to use HTTPS. I believe Todd McLeod actually shows the SSH, which is kind of why I showed the other one. I just think this one's also a quicker way to do it. You can use the GitHub CLI now as well. But this is the way I like to show how to do it. Okay, so now that you're in that repo, you go to code, you grab that. Now, there's going to be another piece of information we're going to need. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit new terminal. Right, I'm in that directory, which is nice. That's part of what you get from opening that folder. And now I'm only going to do part of the command, and the command is git clone. Oh, actually, let me go ahead and do this. Now I'm not going to hit enter. I don't recommend you hit enter yet until you understand the next part. What's going to happen is that once you do this git clone, your terminal inside of your Windows computer is going to go out and attempt to connect with GitHub, and then it's going to ask you to authenticate. But there's a new requirement that we really should appreciate about GitHub, is they're trying to make it more secure. So while you're in GitHub, if you come over to this side and you go down to settings and you scroll down to developer settings and you go to personal access tokens. So no longer can you use passwords when authenticating on the command line or through some other IDE or other software. You need to use these personal tokens and not passwords. And the tokens represent an encrypted password, so to speak, for you. So what you have to do is you have to generate a new token. Now, I've been playing around with this for a while, and I will show you some like little, just make sure you do. Okay, so let's generate a new token. I do have to give it my password. Okay. And then I'm going to call this remove later. Now, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to say it's my Windows. Whoop, scroll up. And the reason is that because I'm recording this and it's going to show throughout the YouTube community, I'm just doing this for your purposes, and then I'm going to delete it and recreate it. Okay. So name it whatever you want. Maybe name it the system that you're on. I think for this class, I would recommend, and maybe this is not the best, so maybe you can customize it to where you go, okay, maybe, yeah, 12. Maybe what I would do here is go, you know what? I'm going to go forward all the way through maybe that week. So it's into December, and that way it gets you through this class. You only have to do it once. And really, you only need the repo security. You don't need any of this other security for now. There may be other occasions as you create and do work that you will. So once you do that step, right? So to give it a name, give it a date. You can do not no expiration, but the more I've researched that, it's kind of like it goes against the idea of security, because you want it to expire and regenerate them. But at least if you do it this far out, you won't have to do it during our class. So choose only repo and scroll down, and this is where you just want to stop for a second, click token, and then this token will be right here, and you go ahead and hit copy. Okay. So this is representing your password, so that the next thing we're about to do, when it's gonna allow you or ask you for a password, you're gonna input this as that, because it won't this is that this string of characters as what would represent your password, because Git and GitHub no longer allows you to use your actual password that you set up your account with. Okay, so let's do this. And there may be a couple of things here because I've had authentication on this computer before, but I'll just kind of walk you through whatever, and watch me, and then when you do it, you may get something similar or something different. So I have git clone. I'm doing it. I'm cloning it into this base directory, which is what I want. Git clone, and then pasting the private git URL. So it's going to clone, and now it's going to ask me. It could ask me here for that GitHub. See what it's asking me? It's asking me for my token. Okay. So because I've already authenticated, it's asking me this. I think what I'm going to hit X is because I think the next screen is the one you're going to get. But if you do get this one, you can just paste your code into there. So hopefully this works. It wants to use GitHub wants to, yep, the extent. I think if I hit cancel, yeah, I hit cancel there. Now it's asking me for my username. Okay. I think I can just use my Gmail account, and then it's asking me for a password, and here's where I would paste in that long token. And let's see. Oh, it worked. Okay. So again, you may not see the screens I did. I didn't want to use the extension. I didn't want to use that little authentication. I think what you will get is they'll ask you for the username, and then where it says password is what you will do is create that. You can log in with your email and then paste in that token. Okay, so here we go. We've done it now, and now we're going to do it again. Now this time you probably won't get the same interface for the authentication, especially if you were able to successfully do the web token, and partly because the IDE in Windows probably saved that for you, right? So let's actually come over here. I'm going to come back to my 95, right? My 95 organization. Now I'm going to go to my public. Now the public repo is the one you're going to end up using here in a minute, okay? For your learn together. I'm going to copy this, okay? And now I'm still in this same base directory. So I'm going to paste, escape, backspace. What did I forget? Let's see. Did you see what I forgot? Right? What did I forget to put here? Actually, if I just hit enter, a little error out, it'll be like, you don't know what you're talking about. Now, I'm not sure why it's locked up. Sometimes interfaces like this do that. So I'm just going to knock that out and let's see if I can bring it back. Oh, good. Let's see if the other bash is still trying to wait for me. It might be. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Some keystrokes. I was trying to back out, but git clone is what I wanted to do, and then I wanted to paste that URL for the git for the public one now, because again, I want to clone into this directory. It went ahead and picked up my authentication from my other directory, or from my other authentication, and actually, I think from the public. Yeah, no, it did. Just thinking through that. Okay. So now I have my two repos represented by two folders inside of my CIT 95FA21. And that's just the way I like to set mine up. I recommend doing it. I've been through a few times with doing this with students that they just found that to be easier. I just did a clear there to do that. The other thing, and I think I might talk about this in the next video, but one of the things I definitely recommend as you're working through and creating files on your system, this actually has the one you're about to do here, is making sure you have auto save on. That way it automatically saves your files as you go. So I think that's it. Again, if you have any challenges there, reach out. Do know, I actually just had a student ask me a question about this because they had set their token to expire. And it ended up, I just was able to go into control panel, just a little more information in case you see this. I went into here into credentials. There's a credential manage Windows credentials, and inside of here was that GitHub. So if anything ever happened, actually I could just either edit it or just remove it and then reissue that token, which is, by the way, what I'm about to do because I've already shared my token out on YouTube once you're watching this, and it's not something that is safe to do. It goes against the whole idea, but for demonstration purposes, I wanted you to see it. Okay, I hope this helps you understand this part of the assignment and move on to the Get workflow. All right. See you later.